August 6, 1944. Pre-dawn, Bodney Airfield, England. Major George Preddy walks into a mission briefing room, and his commanding officer takes one look at him. His hands are shaking. His eyes are unfocused. He has been drinking since 9 the previous evening, and it shows. He's about to lead 36 P-51 Mustangs into combat deep into Germany against a waiting Luftwaffe. Every regulation says ground him. Every instinct of experienced command says the same. He flies anyway. In 6 minutes and 43 seconds deep over Germany, at 31,000 feet, outnumbered 30-4 against combat veterans with every tactical advantage the sky can offer, George Preddy shoots down 6 German fighters in under 7 minutes, while hungover. But this story does not begin in that sky, and it does not end there either. The United States Navy rejected George Preddy 3 times. Too short, spinal curvature, high blood pressure, 5'9", 125 pounds. The Navy called him unqualified and sent him home to Greensboro, North Carolina, 3 separate times. Most men would have accepted the verdict. Preddy was not most men. While other men received their wings, Preddy worked at a cotton mill and attended Guilford College for 2 years, watching the war move without him. 3 times the system told him his body wasn't good enough. 3 times he refused to accept it. The Army Air Corps accepted him in September 1940. He received his pilot wings December 12, 1941, 5 days after Pearl Harbor, meaning the Navy's rejections had delivered to the Army its future top Mustang ace at the moment America needed him most. His first combat posting sent him to Darwin, Australia, with the 49th Pursuit Group. In 1942, during a training flight, his aircraft collided with another P-40, killing the other pilot. Preddy spent 3 months in hospital with severe injuries, a collision that nearly ended his career before it began. He recovered. He refused to stop. By July 1943, he was in England with the 352nd Fighter Group, a gambler by nature, craps his game, with a personal phrase painted on every aircraft, "Cripes, a mighty." For luck. His first European aerial victory came in December 1943. By April 1944, the group converted to P-51 Mustangs, and Preddy loved the aircraft immediately. Better range, speed, visibility. He scored his 5th kill in May, becoming an official ace. By early August, he had 19.83 confirmed victories, having extended his combat tour 4 times. He wanted more kills. The war wasn't finished, and neither was he. The mission scheduled for August 6th had been scrubbed the evening before, weather over Germany. For the pilots of the 352nd, a free evening. Someone organized a party, war bond money burned in pockets. The drinking started at 9. At 1 in the morning, the mission was reinstated. The forecast had changed. 96 B-17 Flying Fortresses needed escort deep into Germany. Someone found Preddy and woke him up. He stumbled into the briefing room. His group commander looked at him and made the call immediately. Preddy wasn't fit to fly and not leading the group. Lieutenant Colonel John Meyer stepped forward, already an ace himself. He vouched for Preddy, promising the commander he'd be ready by takeoff. The commander relented, but warned Meyer it was on him. At 9:30, Preddy climbed into his P-51D Mustang. Cripes, a mighty. His head pounded, his hands trembled. In 90 minutes, he'd be at 30,000 feet deep over Germany, Luftwaffe waiting. 36 Mustangs lifted off from Bodney and climbed toward the English Channel. 4 fighters against 30. A pilot who, by every law of aviation medicine, should have been grounded in a dark room. What happens when his thumb hits the trigger will redefine what you think is possible in a cockpit. At 11:07, the bomber stream appeared. 96 B-17 Flying Fortresses flying in staggered combat boxes at 31,000 feet. Preddy spotted contrails high to the southwest. Too fast, too organized to be friendly. More than 30 Messerschmitt Bf-109s, positioning to dive on the rear bomber formation, held altitude, numbers, and the sun at their backs. But they hadn't checked the sky behind them. Preddy had seconds before the Germans spotted him and scattered. He decided in 3, slamming his throttle to the firewall and attacking with his flight of 4, rather than waiting on the full group. 4 against 30. Appalling math, but surprise was worth 20 additional fighters. The lead Bf-109 never saw him coming. Preddy opened fire at 400 yards. 6 50 caliber guns converged on the Germans' engine block. The canopy shattered, smoke erupted, and the Messerschmitt rolled inverted and fell away, burning. First kill, 4 seconds. The German formation collapsed instantly. Radio discipline disintegrated. Training said hold formation. Survival instinct won. The hangover had vanished. Adrenaline overrode alcohol. Training overrode everything. Second kill, 11 seconds. Third, 31. Fourth, 49. He chased the 5th fighter, anticipated a climbing defensive maneuver, and fired a deflection shot. The German flew straight into the stream of bullets. 5th kill, 1 minute 19 seconds. 1 Bf-109 remained, and this pilot wasn't running. He turned to fight. A sustained turning engagement at 5,000 feet, both pulling maximum G-force, each trying to get behind the other. The German was good, probably a veteran. Preddy stopped trying to outturn him, pulled into a climbing roll, reversed at the top, and dove back toward the German. They passed canopy to canopy at a combined 600 miles per hour. At 4,000 feet, the German broke left when he should have broken right. Preddy had been waiting for that. He fired his last ammunition, 3 seconds. The Bf-109's left wing sheared off, and the fighter snap-rolled and disintegrated. 6th kill. Total time, 6 minutes, 43 seconds. If this story is landing the way it should, hit that like button and subscribe. These are the men most people have never heard of, and everyone deserves to be remembered. Now let us finish this one. All 6 kills were confirmed by 1,700 hours that day. Major George Preddy had become an ace in a day, one of only 38 U.S. Army Air Force's pilots ever to achieve 6 or more aerial victories in a single mission. Lieutenant Colonel Meyer submitted a Medal of Honor nomination that evening, writing it himself. 4 against 30. 6 personally destroyed. The German attack broken before it reached its targets. The recommendation was declined 6 days later. Preddy received the Distinguished Service Cross instead. He did not protest. He wanted to fly. He returned to combat in October 1944 with new orders. Command of the 328th Fighter Squadron, the worst performing unit in the group. Lowest kill record, broken morale. Preddy arrived November 1st, gathered his pilots, and spoke for 3 minutes, telling them simply why they existed. To shoot down the enemy, nothing else. He put them in the air the next morning. On their first mission under his command, the 328th destroyed 25 German aircraft in 40 minutes. 3 pilots became aces in a single engagement, and the worst squadron in the group had just set an 8th Air Force record. Preddy's total climbed to 26.83 confirmed kills. He was the leading active American ace in the European theater. The Luftwaffe had hunted him across 143 combat missions and never once brought him down. On Christmas Day, 1944, Preddy was chasing a German FW-190 at treetop height over Belgium. It had been strafing American ground positions. He stayed in pursuit low, racing east at 350 miles per hour. American anti-aircraft batteries opened fire on the pursuit, aiming for the German fighter, and hit Preddy instead. Multiple 50 caliber rounds tore through his fuselage. The engine seized. He climbed desperately to bail out, but the aircraft was too low, and the parachute had no time. Major George Preddy died at 11:37 that morning. He was 25 years old. 4 months later, his younger brother William, also flying P-51s, was shot down and killed over Czechoslovakia at 20. The Army buried them side by side at Lorraine American Cemetery in France, where they've been for 80 years. The Luftwaffe threw everything it had at George Preddy across 143 combat missions and never once brought him down. His own country's guns did, on Christmas morning, while he was protecting American soldiers on the ground below. He was rejected 3 times before anyone let him near a cockpit. He survived a mid-air collision that killed another pilot. He flew hungover into 30 enemy fighters and came home having shot down 6. He took the worst squadron in his group and made them record setters in a single morning. The Navy said his body wasn't good enough to fly. He became the top-scoring P-51 Mustang ace of World War II. Hit that like button, not for this channel, but for George Preddy and his brother William. Every like carries their names to someone who has never heard them. Subscribe so you never miss a story like this. Drop a comment below. Where are you watching from? And did anyone in your family serve? These men have been in that cemetery in France for 80 years. You just made sure today was not the day they were forgotten.